Here's your wrestling news for March 24th, 2022. And your headlines for today include: top AEW star makes popular WWE reference on Dynamite, former WWE champion confirms Cody Rhodes has signed with WWE, WWE is criticized for disrespecting current talent with Steve Austin headlining WrestleMania 38, what is Kofi Kingston's role at WrestleMania, major leaks concerning Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania 38 booking and immediate WWE future, massive name missing from WWE Hell in a Cell advertising, released WWE star confirms Steamy exclusive content is coming soon, The Undertaker finally opens up about Scott Hall, ex-WWE Performance Center coach slated for in-ring return, Dax Harwood and CM Punk put on a classic on AEW Dynamite, Jeff Hardy rolls back the years once again, veteran pro wrestler reportedly signed to multi-year MLW contract, and more. We're kicking off today with AEW, as the company has never shied away from making references to WWE, and this week's episode has proven to be no different. This time it was Chris Jericho's turn to reference the promotion he once worked for, as during a backstage segment with the Jericho Appreciation Society, the former world champion said he and Daniel Garcia were going to future endeavor John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order, just like they did with Santana and Ortiz. This is of course in reference to WWE releasing talent and wishing them the best in their future endeavors, which has become a meme with fans on social media. Jericho also showed a photo of himself and a 12-year-old John Silver, which AEW had broadcast prior to the segment. He said, "What a beautiful picture and a heartwarming story of a 12-year-old John Silver meeting his idol. And now, in 2022, he actually gets to be in the ring with the influencer. Let's be honest, Hungy, you being in the ring with the big one puts you on a different level, but it doesn't put you on my level. I'm gonna take you to school tonight." At this point, Garcia reiterated that the JAS was formed to beat up pro wrestlers and borrowed a line from WWE saying that the AEW roster can't hang with sports entertainers. True to his word, Jericho and Garcia went on to beat Silver and Reynolds in the main event, and the JAS had plenty of fun doing so and making reference to WWE. Now, when Cody and Brandi Rhodes left AEW last month, it was immediately speculated that Cody would return to WWE 6 years after his initial departure. After weeks of conflicting reports, it was reported last week that Cody has signed a contract to return, and now Chris Jericho has also confirmed Cody's imminent return. On his podcast, Jericho worked Michael Dawkins, the attorney AEW has gone to countless times for trademarks, and during their discussion, Y2J let it slip that Cody is a WWE superstar once more. I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit on the wrestling business. You're gonna discover how I've been able to be Chris Jericho no matter what company I work for or where I wrestle. You'll get to hear how Danhausen gets to keep his name and gimmick from promotion to promotion, how Cody got to reclaim Rhodes from WWE, even though he's back in WWE. Cody is rumored to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, who has grown more and more desperate each week as he's yet to have a confirmed match. Fans in Chicago chanted Cody's name at the former Universal Champion as the show went off the air this week, and Rollins has threatened to hijack next week's Raw until he gets a match at WrestleMania. Time will tell whether Rhodes returns on next Monday's show in Pittsburgh or is saved for WrestleMania, but his return is seemingly definitely happening next week. Next Saturday, WWE will host their first of 2 nights of WrestleMania 38, which could be even more of a history-making night for the company. According to reports, WWE is planning for Stone Cold Steve Austin's segment with Kevin Owens to headline the show, marking the first time in WrestleMania history that the event doesn't end with a match. While Austin will no doubt get a thunderous ovation in his native Texas, not everyone is on board with the idea, as during the Busted Open podcast, Bully Ray said it was a sign of disrespect to the current roster to have Austin close the show. If you have to announce it as a match, you have to announce it obviously as his last time ever. I don't agree with it being the main event of night 1. You seriously cannot put that match on last in my eyes. That's a direct kick to the talent that is there now. Yes, it's an attraction, yes, it's Steve Austin, but I think even Steve Austin would tell you, no, I should not go on last. The women should go on last or any other main event. You know what? Forget about man or woman. Whatever main event that's been built, that has earned the right to go on last. But not Steve and Kevin. Steve and Kevin belong in the middle of the show. It's going to be very hard to follow Steve and Kevin. To his credit, Austin is said to be in the best shape he's been in years ahead of the WrestleMania confrontation, and is expected to do much more than deliver a stunner as we've seen in past segments over the years. With that said, Austin is expected to main event WrestleMania, something he's done 3 times already, and while he will be the most popular star next weekend, that only shows the poor job WWE has done in building talent as of late. Austin is one of many former world champions booked for WrestleMania 38, but there are some who haven't made the cut. WrestleMania was supposed to feature a 6-man tag match pitting The New Day against Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland, but with Big E recovering from a broken neck, those plans are a distant memory. On Odyssey's The Bart Winkler Show, Kofi Kingston discussed the situation and made it clear Big E will not be available for WrestleMania, and is hoping to have Xavier Woods back full-time so they have something to do. The popular former WWE champion admitted that he does not know what his plans are for WrestleMania, if WWE have anything in mind for the man who led Kofi Mania at the same show 3 years ago. As for Woods, he returned to in-ring competition at a recent live event after suffering an injury in January, but if WWE doesn't think of something soon, both he and Kofi may be spending WrestleMania 38 on the sidelines. Over the past year, Brock Lesnar has been a regular on WWE programming, appearing weekly as a full-fledged babyface. At WrestleMania, Lesnar will defend his WWE Championship against Universal Champion Roman Reigns in a title unification match, but WWE's own promotional material may have spoiled the outcome. In the promotional material for June's Hell in a Cell event, Lesnar is nowhere to be seen, while Reigns is featured front and center on the poster. According to sources, the plan is for Lesnar to take one of his lengthy hiatuses after WrestleMania and is expected to lose the title unification match, though his loss will be far from clean. The source explained that Bobby Lashley, who will reportedly return to face Omos earlier in the show, will interfere during the match with Reigns, attacking Lesnar and, in kayfabe, injuring the Beast incarnate. Getting payback on the real injury Lashley suffered during his match with Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, this injury will explain Brock's absence from the ring, which is much harder to justify to fans now that he's no longer heel. Not only does this give Lesnar a reason for leaving, but it'll push Lashley back in the main event scene and give WWE the option for a Reigns-Lesnar rematch, as the Tribal Chief's win won't be clean. At this time, Reigns has held the Universal Championship for 571 days, and if things turn out according to plan, it'll be the head of the table who emerges victorious in Texas. When Nia Jax was released from WWE last year, the former Raw Women's Champion made it clear that her in-ring career is over. Now, the irresistible force will find new ways to make money, and she's joining the litany of wrestling stars to sell exclusive photos online. On social media, Jax wore matching black underwear and a furry coat to tease the arrival of exclusive content, saying it'll launch on March 30th, as she's got a lot more opportunity for projects like this now outside of WWE. This month, Scott Hall tragically passed after suffering 3 heart attacks, but his impact on the wrestling world continues to be felt. Showing it could be cool to be bad as Razor Ramon and later in the New World Order, the impact Hall made is immense, and he also had a hand in forming one of the industry's biggest stars. Speaking on the Out of Character podcast, The Undertaker discussed Hall and how the two worked together when the soon-to-be Hall of Famer was new to the business. Scott, we go way back. I went to Japan with Scott in 1988 or 89 is where I met Scott. He kind of took me along and showed me the ropes, and it's sad. Another one of our guys we've lost way too early. He was just a tremendous in-ring performer. He was really a top-flight guy. I hate it for him. I hate it for his family. It's just another sad day in our industry. It wasn't long after that tour of Japan with the bad guy that The Undertaker would sign with the WWF to become one of the biggest stars ever, and Scott Hall played his part in making the Phenom the legend he is today. From 2015 to 2020, Sarah Stock worked as a performance center coach until she was furloughed in April 2 years ago and fired in September that same year. Now the former coach is getting back in the ring and on YouTube announced her comeback to the ring. Stock has plenty of in-ring experience as she worked with AAA, CMLL, TNA, and various indie promotions before joining WWE, and we'll have to see where she takes her talents next. Over to AEW now, as CM Punk was in action on last night's Dynamite and kicked off the show with an instant classic with Dax Harwood. The former tag team champion may be a tag team specialist, but Harwood proved that he's more than capable of working a singles match. Punk may have gotten the win, making Harwood tap to the Anaconda Vice, but it was Harwood who walked away as the metaphorical MVP for proving himself both in singles action and against one of AEW's biggest names. There's no reports of any plans to split FTR, as the duo seem very happy with the roles in AEW, but should they ever split, Harwood could easily make it in singles wrestling. Dax Harwood wasn't the only standout star this week, as Jeff Hardy put on yet another incredible performance when he teamed with Matt Hardy, Sting, and Darby Allin to face members of the Andrade family office. At one point when the match spilled backstage, the Butcher and the Blade were set up on tables, and the charismatic Enigma leveled both men with a swanton bomb off the ledge of the arena after climbing a ladder. A spot that reminded fans of Jeff's iconic ladder dive at the 2000 Royal Rumble, Hardy continues to turn back the clock, proving that coming to AEW was the right decision for the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And we're ending today with Davey Richards, who has reportedly signed a multi-year contract with MLW. Richards told Fightful that the deal with MLW seems too good to be true, and after winning the promotion's 2021 Open Cup tournament, Richard will be here to stay until 2024 at the very earliest. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.